the Italian Football Podcast.
I thought that the defending was wonderful. I thought all the back four were really, really good. I thought that Danilo playing as a left back, really, really good. Savona was good. Kalulu was excellent. And then Federico Gatti was just absolutely outstanding. And I want to talk about Gatti because he was a monster. He completely dominated Haaland in this game. Haaland didn't get a kick except for that chance. He was like his idol, Giorgio Chiellini. A lot of comparisons to Giorgio Chiellini. This was a Giorgio Chiellini-like performance. The grit, the determination, the bravery, throwing his body on the line, so many blocks, winning everything in the air, defending his box brilliantly, playing like a leader. The goal, the first goal came from Gatti charging up the pitch. He was the man that was dragging Juventus in this game, and it's such an incredible story, Gatti. I mean, this is someone who at the age of 17 left school at the age of 17 to work and went to work as a bricklayer because his father had been made unemployed, been made unemployed, and they needed the money. His family needed the money. He worked as a bricklayer, as a window manufacturer. He repaired roofs. He worked at markets. He worked for 9 to 10 hours a day. This was up until the age of 20. He would train in the evenings. He would have dinner at 11 in the evening. He would get up between 3 and 4 in the morning. This was all while he was playing amateur football in Serie D, the 4th division, 5th division, 6th division in Italy. Until 2020, when he was the age of 22. He then joined Serie C side Pro Patria in that summer of 2020. Then a year later, in 2021, he got a move to Frosinone in Serie B, and then after 6 months in Serie B, Juventus signed him in January 2022. They left him on loan at Frosinone for the rest of that season. So in the space of 18 months, he went from being a bricklayer to Juventus. And when he joined Juventus in 2022, I'm going to read out what he posted on social media because this is so beautiful. He goes, 2 years ago, I was a bricklayer and I installed window frames. In the evening, I trained in the mud, on frozen fields and in the cold. I've been through a lot, positive and negative experiences. Everything helped me grow and become the person I am today. Today, I'm signing my professional contract because I've been willing to do anything to get there, to give up anything, to fight against everything and everyone. It's an incredible story. It's inspiring to see someone go from a bricklayer to Juventus and now make it all up to the top and stop maybe the best striker in the world and put in this kind of performance. And he has been, as he was in this game, he's been brilliant this season. It's a beautiful story, and you can't but anybody, don't care who you support, what you think of Gatti, you can't help but be inspired by his story.
No, there's really not much more to add to that. To be honest, it's very inspiring and it's impressive, and it's also a demonstration of the kind of player he is, isn't he? He's a very, Sven-Goran Eriksson used to call these kinds of players honest players, in the sense that they're very hardworking. That it's always, discipline and hard work goes first. And that game against City, I think, suited him really well. It's a match where Juve are compact and deep, and I think those are games that really suit Gatti.
He's a great box defender.
Yeah,
he's a great box defender,
man marker. Yeah, and you saw that again, and it's we've been looking for those kinds of defenders.
He's old school, isn't he? He's an old school
like
Italian
Azzurri,
who also dominated Haaland.
Yeah, he did. No, exactly, and I think you have to do that. But it's the reason why they can do that is when you defend deep and you shrink the space so that he's not allowed to turn around and hit you with pace and power, which he has abundance of. The thing is with Gatti is that this season, obviously, in most games, Juventus have played a high line, or a much higher line. It's not as high a line as say City's is, or De Zerbi or something, but it's still a high line, Motta's line, and he's flourished in. I mean, I don't think many people
if you when we knew that Motta was coming to Juventus, I don't think many people would have predicted that Gatti would be one of the most impressive performers under Motta. I mean, he's been consistently excellent this season. He was actually bad against Bologna. That was one of the few games that he played bad, but generally he's been absolutely outstanding this season. And I think maybe now people need to start giving him more credit for his actual ability, because he's somebody that has been written off as being someone who lacks the technical qualities, lacks maybe the natural ability. He's just somebody that's just a kind of a rugged physical 6'2", 6'3" defender who's good in the air, but probably lacks the actual quality to play for a team like Juventus. And obviously the mistake he made against Sassuolo, I remember, which was comical. That was probably when everybody was like, well, this guy, he's just not Juventus quality. And I'll be lying if I say that I didn't ask the same question as well. But there's something about him. He has a winning mentality. He's a fighter, and he's a team player. And he's showing himself now. His levels this season have been absolutely top class. His performances
defensively,
this season.
when he's playing well and he's man marking, so to speak, when he can box defender, as you call him, that he's really good at. I'm not like, I look at him a little bit like I look at Denzel Dumfries. I think they're very limited players technically, but they have unbelievable mental strength. And they are, like I said, Sven calls them honest players, in the sense that they're very hard working. It's about the work rate. It's about the team. It's about working in a system, together as a team, elevating the level. And I think he similar.
I think he has attributes
to Dumfries,
though.
But I think they're never going to be the most beautiful, technically gifted.
But then
players.
nor was his idol Chiellini, was he? I mean, Chiellini was far from.
No, but Chiellini was a player. I mean, he had technique. Like,
I don't know. I wouldn't say he had. I wouldn't say he had great technique. I mean, he says it himself. Chiellini said himself, "I had no technique." I mean, being modest, but you can't say that Chiellini was a Bonucci or Bastoni. Do you know what I mean?
Of course not. He's not that kind of a defender, but he was also not.
I'm not comparing. Listen, I'm not saying that Gatti's ever going to be Chiellini, but what I'm saying is
I know what you're saying, but I'm saying that Chiellini is a completely different kettle of fish. I mean, if you compare him to Barzagli and Bonucci, yes, he wasn't as good, but he would be, if he played today, he would be one of the best. I mean, like, not just defensively, but also moving forward, because he was a very intelligent player. Also, he wasn't just this gritty man marking player. Whilst I think with Gatti, we can say that he is more of that kind of a player than he's.
I think he's good position. I think he's excellent positionally. I think he's very good
when in a unit. Yes.
He's very good positionally. He's very good in a unit, and that which is important. We go on about Milan and their individual defenders. He's a team defender. He's put in a great partnership with Kalulu. I mean, Bremer. Of course, Bremer's been missed massively. Of course, he is, because he's another level. But they haven't really missed him that much as a unit. I mean,
because the structure that Motta's put in place. I mean, that's what you want from your coach, isn't it?
Yeah.
Like, you want them to get the best, to create a structure with the best he's got at his disposal.
What I would say though about Gatti is I think he's better in a 4 than a back 3.
Absolutely.
Because I think that you can be more of a unit. And also I think if there is one weakness with Gatti, and this is why I kind of, because there's going to be question marks. The way he's playing, he's got he should be playing for Italy, people will be saying. The question is, the issue is with playing in a back 3, maybe he could play as a centre back. I do think that, but then there's Calafiori and Bastoni who are better than him. But as a right centre-back, which is a position that Italy could do with someone, you have to cover the space to the out wide. And that's my only one question about whether he could come and play for Italy, like for Spalletti, and fill that right centre-back role. It's like, when you play as a side centre-back, you do have to cover those spaces where,
and not just that, you also have to do the overlaps on the wings when moving forward, and you have to be able to cross the ball, and you have to be like,
You don't have to if the guy on the other side does it, but I know what you mean. You have to be more complete.
Di Lorenzo, like that's why Di Lorenzo plays as the right centre back. Like that's why he works in that system, and that's why, you know, I don't know. I think Gatti should definitely be in the squad if he plays like this. Yeah, there's no doubt.
If it was a back four, I would say absolutely. But you know, I mean, would even say, you know, maybe even playing games as well. Not maybe the first, not maybe regular, but in the back. That's the question, really. That's something that, that I want to see how I want to see how he develops, because he's proven so many people wrong already.
Yeah.
That who knows?
I think as a centre back, then if Italy are defending deep, yeah, sure, okay, maybe. But I mean, in the squad, yes, he definitely, if he continues to play like this, he has to be in the squad.
But do remember,
whether or not he starts. Look, when you have Calafiori, Bastoni, and Buongiorno, you have to make it work with those three, because they are just better defenders than Gatti is.
Well, yeah. I think he's been fantastic, and you know, people forget, you know, he's actually better on the ball than people give credit for, and the first goal Juventus scored is proof of that. It was Gatti's run up the pitch, charging, kind of Chiellini like buccaneering run, crazy horse, you know, kind of run up the pitch, and then that volley that he did, it was fantastic, kind of side bicycle kick. You know, so that anybody that kind of mocks his technique, I mean, it's not that bad. But yeah, it was. Listen, I think Gatti was the star of the show.